Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I am so glad that you're here with me today. I am continuing our series, How to Design Your Landscape. And although it is beautiful and the weather is changing every day, it's a roller coaster, the nurseries aren't quite ready for spring. They don't have all their plants out because in the forecast we have a 20-degree night coming up next week. So I decided that rather than visiting landscape nurseries and sort of having a hard time finding what we're looking for, that I would do things the old-fashioned way. And I also want to show you that you too don't have to leave your house to find plant inspiration. The internet is an amazing thing, but I want to show you what I was gifted. So today we're going to talk about how we can find plants without going to the nursery. And I'm going to go ahead and work on the landscape design. I'm just going to use my iPad and a simple software that I have. I'm not going to use my big fancy software. And so I'm going to get that done today, and then I'm going to show you a project that we went ahead and did. I revised the front of my house already, trying to think through what I'm doing. So I want to show you that video from over the weekend. So we've got a lot we're getting into. Again, I'm so glad that you're here. If you like this video as you're going through it, feel free to give me a thumbs up. That way I know that, this is effective and helpful. Always feel free to ask me questions, and don't forget to subscribe if you like this type video. So I want to show you what I was gifted. Brace yourself. It's big. This book was gifted to me by a landscape designer. It's massive. It was gifted to me by a landscape designer, Connie. She decided that she wanted to retire. She had done this long enough. They had a house in Costa Rica. They traveled back and forth, and she was ready to just give up the life of design and really work hard on how to enjoy the rest of her life. So she was kind enough to gift me the book that she put so much time and attention into, and I cherish it. This book she put together, it has, I think, every plant known to man in Zone 7B. What she did was she partnered with a nursery, and every single month she would go through and get the plants that were available to buy that month, and she would put them in this book. And then she would take the other ones out and put them to the side. And then every single month she did this. So I think it's so cool, but I think lugging this book around to my client visits would be overwhelming to them and me. So I use this more for reference or inspiration like I'm going to do today. So Connie, if you're watching this, thank you so much, and a big, big heart to you. Okay, so what I want to show you is that there in this book, let's see. I'm going to pick one that you'll be able to see a little better. Let's go with a beautiful azalea, okay? So this is Azalea Midnight Flare. I think you can probably see that. So what Connie did is she took a picture. She grabbed a picture off the internet. She put the name, and then she put the most important characteristics of the plant, what size they come in from the nursery, and then their mature height, width, when they flower, and what type sun requirements they need. And so I have gone through this book and I've put evergreen or deciduous. Evergreen means they keep their leaves in the winter, and deciduous means that they don't keep their leaves in the winter, but they come back in the spring. And so this is what I'm going to actually spend some time looking through. I am going to pull out some inspiration, and then I am going to talk through that with you. So I don't want you to feel like we're going to sit here and I'm going to take up your time while I'm looking at this entire book. So I'm going to look through this now, and then I'm going to have just a couple to show you and for us to talk through. All right. That was a a big book to get through, but I found some great inspiration. So I want to go over a couple of the plants that I have thought about. I sort of already have my mind made up, but this kind of swayed me a little bit. So it has definitely given me some food for thought. So the very first one, what I'm looking for is, actually, let's go outside and look at it. Okay, so I thought it might be a little more helpful to show you what we did over the weekend. Took the 2 center roses out, and I left a rose on each side. And then these are hydrangeas that have not yet leafed out, and a gardenia in the middle. So where I'm at right now is I am trying to think through, sorry, my hand is shaking, it's so cold outside. What I'm trying to think through right now is how to, if I want to leave a rose here and a rose here for some color with the hydrangeas. They are absolutely stunning. And, so I'm trying to think through, do I want to leave those? And I definitely want to pull the gardenia out. So I'm looking for something that is a focal point in the center of the house right here. I really am leaning toward a camellia. I absolutely love the camellia that bloom in the wintertime. I love the beautiful flowers when everything else is drab and dreary. So I am heavily leaning on a camellia in the center, but I don't know. And so I'm sort of thinking about keeping the roses on either side, just for some height. They are a hot pink knockout rose. And then from there, I am going to just design in the center. These hydrangeas are massive. They are supposed to be a little lime, which is the dwarf limelight. However, they are much bigger than what I have to keep them cut way back. So I originally wanted to pull those out, and I still may, but that's what I'm trying to decide between what I want to do. So that's where we stand today. All right, so we have just gone outside and taken a look at the outside, and now I want to show you the plants that I picked out in that huge book. So I'm going to go through these kind of fast and just talk a little bit about each one. Little Bunny Fountain Grass. This, and I picked Carax. They are a cute little grass that they just sort of complement whatever it is you put up. So there's both. I really, really like the Little Bunny grass. I just love anything in the ornamental grass, the Pennisetum category. But they don't handle our hard freezes very well, so I tend to lose them. And they are almost like an annual if we have a really tough winter. So that would be a drawback to planting those. Another complementary plant, meaning these aren't going to be the staple plants, but these would be the perennials that come up in the spring, summer, and fall. I love these. I love them. Cone flowers are just awesome. Echinacea, it's just awesome. And I really love vibrant colors. I'm not a fan of the pale pinks, but I will use them. It's just not my go-to. I love purples. I love yellow, red. I like hot pink, fuchsia. I love chartreuse colors. So, and then I love plum. I'm a big, huge fan of plum. So really no color that I stay away from except for orange. Orange, I like orange, but I don't tend to buy any plants that have orange flowers. Marigolds, maybe. Most of the time I just get yellow. All right, so Dystelium is very underwhelming for me. It's the right size. If I do pull out the other roses and need to redesign the whole thing, maybe Decilium is something that I would use. These are 1 to 3 feet by 1 to 3 feet. For the center of between the two windows, the focal point, I found a Hinoki cypress. I don't love this look. I don't feel like it goes with what I'm looking for, but it does give the height. Its mature height is 3 to 6 feet tall. But again, that's probably a no. So, camellia. This is my very favorite camellia. This is a Yuletide camellia. The other one that I love is the Camellia sasanqua. It is a Greensboro red. So I love red. And I really, really have thought of where I could put that red camellia. I just love, love, love them. And so I'm heavily leaning on putting a red camellia in the landscape. So we're going to see what the design looks like when I put the camellia in and just see if I love it. My roses are hot pink, but the camellia that I would get is not going to flower in the summertime. It's going to flower in the wintertime because I love the idea of having flowers in the winter when everything else looks yucky. All right, so two of my favorite plants are the barberry. They have thorns and they hurt really bad, but this sunjoy and this golden ruby, like it's got the little chartreuse color around the edge. And it's like a plum color, which would match my Laura Pedalum over on the other side. So I've been looking at this particular variety, the golden ruby, for quite some time. I've looked at it at the nursery a couple of times and I just really, really like it. So I have a feeling if I can find a place for this golden ruby barberry, I'm probably gonna use this. So a butterfly bush, these are the dwarf butterfly bush, pugster, and then Miss Pearl Buddleia. And I just love the cute, they are so cute. The pugster variety, I've seen those and they just look like a little ball of goodness. I really, really like them. They're 2 feet by 2 feet and just something that I really, really like. So that's a possibility as well. All right. So do you know about Encore azaleas? So let me tell you a little bit about azaleas if you don't know. So here is the azalea that I really like. When you talk about an azalea, a lot of times these are the type azaleas that you're talking about. So our grandmothers, azaleas fall into the grandmother category for me. Our grandmothers all had the azaleas that would bloom in, let's see, whenever mothers, so May, April, late April, early May. And they would bloom once, be beautiful for the pictures. We even have an azalea festival here in North Carolina. It's a beautiful southern plant. And then that would be it. You would just have a green ball the rest of the year. Well, new to the market, they started finding a way to create what's called the reblooming azalea, which means they bloom multiple times a year. In spring, summer, and fall, sometimes twice, sometimes 4 times instead of 3. And so this is called an encore azalea or a reblooming azalea. There's just something about them. You don't have to do without that beautiful bloom, the double blooms. Just once, you can have them multiple times a year. And so here in my area, Zone 7B, azaleas are a staple. They are a staple in most landscapes. You do see those a lot. And, you know, they're nostalgic for me as well. It's a grandmother plant. It reminds me of my parents. They always had the most beautiful azaleas. They didn't have the encore or the reblooming azalea. They had the old school azaleas. So we'll just call them old school. But I'm really thinking about incorporating an azalea, if possible, a couple of azaleas dappled throughout the front. I'm not sure what color. I'm not sure red. I tend to shy away from shrubs with white flowers. And here is why. When the flowers fade, they turn brown. That's especially true on camellias and azaleas. The white flowers are absolutely stunning, but then when they fade, they have this really ugly brown. And so you really have to be on top of your maintenance game if that bothers you, and pulling those dead flowers out. So you have to really, really deadhead in order to keep your landscape looking nice and not. I don't like that look, so I will never get a white blooming. I love my gardenias. I do have gardenias. I have several gardenias, and they do the same thing, but I pop those blooms off. I don't give them a chance to look ugly. So you could do the same with azaleas. The white are gorgeous, and the white camellias are gorgeous as well. So nothing against those. I think I'm going to steer clear of that. Plus my house is white, so I really want something that's going to pop. Another plant that I was thinking about for the center of the window is a weeping Japanese maple. Lace leaf Japanese maple, waterfall Japanese maple. You know, they're going to get the size that I need, 6 to 10 feet tall, 10 to 12 feet wide. That's pretty wide, but beautiful. They're slow growing, so I know it would take a lot of time. Probably won't even be in this house by that time. But I just really want something evergreen between the windows. So I think as I pulled it out, I wanted to give some options, but I just don't think so. I'm going to put this in the design, in one of my designs, and just, you know, let us see what it looks like. But I sort of don't love it. The last that I have is an astilbe. I don't know if many of you know of astilbe, but they are a cute perennial. They bloom all over themselves. They look like those little chenille pipe cleaners that we all used to play with and make bracelets out of as kids. And probably our kids still play with them. I know my Finley does. And so an astilbe, I love how they come out of the ground in spring and they just show off. They show off from spring until fall, and I love that about them. I love their showiness, and they have a great pest resistance. So if you have problems with deer don't like astilbe. So anyway, so astilbe is a great border plant. I cannot incorporate this in my front landscape because it is a shade-loving plant. However, I'm going to put it in my back. But I just wanted to show you this. This is one of my favorite plants, and so I just thought that would be really pretty to incorporate. So anyway, now we are going to go ahead and look at some of the designs I am going to put together. I'm getting ready to do that right now, and then we are going to get this show on the road. Design number 1, incorporating the camellia. Design number 2, incorporating the lace leaf Japanese maple. Design number 3 with the hinoki cypress. Design 4 and 5 with just your evergreens across the back. Pick your favorite one. All right, so we have had quite a busy video here. We have looked at some plants. We have talked through some plants. We have our designs finally at last. I'm really excited about how well these turned out. And I am going to ask that you again vote on which one you like, 1, 2, or 3. I want to ask that if there's any other ones that maybe you think would look better, put whatever you think in the comments below. And I will let you know which one I go with. And then it is time to actually go and purchase plants. I'm going to wait just a little bit. We've got to get through a couple of these cold snaps first. So I will be doing that in April. But in between now and then, we're going to talk about some other landscape design features. So never fear, we're not quite done. Thank you so much for watching. I am looking forward to what the next few videos in this series are going to bring us. I'm going to go get outside and get my hands dirty, and I hope you will too. Take care, everybody. Bye.